soon to leave my toilet up and you know, I wasn't currently using it. I was gonna use the fucking toilet.
I'm listening to my favorite rap song, and I just wanna sing along, nigga. I feel like saying nigga today. Oh yeah, I feel like saying nigga tonight. Alright, but when I'm by myself driving in my car, I say nigga with a heart on. Care if you get your feelings hurt, your reaction to the word is worse. I'm just trying to celebrate black art. Now please step away from my car, nigga. I feel like saying nigga today. Oh yeah, I feel like saying nigga tonight. But when I'm by myself driving in my car, I say nigga with a heart on. I sing the N-word every time I hear it. Don't blame me, I didn't write the lyrics. I'm not a hater, I just love rap songs. Please just let me sing along, nigga. I feel like saying nigga today. Oh yeah, I feel like saying nigga tonight. But when I'm by myself driving in my car, I say nigga with a heart on. Saying nigga tonight. Alright, but when I'm by myself driving in my car, I say nigga with a heart on. Oh fuck yeah, I feel like saying nigga today. Oh yeah, I feel like saying nigga tonight. Alright, but when I'm by myself driving in my car, I say nigga with a heart on. year with the whites, only Christmas. It's white boy summer. It's white boy summer. It's white boy summer. It's white boy summer. All you niggas better run for cover, 'cause this is white boy summer. It's white boy summer. It's white boy summer. It's white boy summer. It's white boy summer.
I'll phone them.
The Sonic $6 All-American Smasher Meal.
What's everybody
Great
else up to
burger,
tonight?
even greater deal.
The Chevy Equinox is more than an SUV. It's your tour guide. And your boxing ring.
My throat feels all better, so I can smoke tomorrow for the Super Bowl.
You're as cold as ice. They're willing to blast your face with guns. You're gonna pay the price. Come win a stupid prize. We've seen it before. The liberals lost their minds. They opened the door, let the third one inside. You're blocking the road. Try driving away. There's no longer breathing, 'cause some cops don't play. You'll be cold as ice. They're killing this bitch that tried to run. You can't roll the dice. Someday you'll pay the price. Fat fool. You've seen this before. The liberals lost their minds. You open the door for a pretty good time. You're bringing a gun. You stand in their way. Get more than a beating, 'cause ice doesn't play. You know you are cold as ice. As cold as ice. Fuck yeah. You're as cold as ice. Cold as ice. Fat cold as ice. Yes, I know. Cold as ice, cold as ice. Cold as ice, fat cold as ice. Yes, I know. You're as cold as ice. Cold as ice, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
Aldo Nova Fantasy.
I've been dealing with dark spot.
That's crazy they made a song about that bitch you guys shot already. That's crazy too.
My entire adult life, nothing worked for me until I found Eucerin Radiant Tone.
TV party.
Oreo Thins, flavors that feed your fancy.
Black Flag TV party. Buck Cherry all lit up. What's up, John? I gotta go to the bathroom in a second. I'll be right back.
Opioid addiction can be a daily challenge, but it may be possible to get a month of mornings without being reminded of your addiction with long-acting Brixadi. Brixadi with counseling is for adults with moderate to severe opioid addiction who have been on or started treatment with a dose of oral buprenorphine. Brixadi is a monthly or weekly injection that contains buprenorphine, which can block the rewarding effects of opioids. Brixadi can cause life-threatening reactions and death if injected into a vein. Buprenorphine can cause life-threatening breathing problems or death when used with opioids, benzodiazepines, alcohol, CNS depressants, or street drugs. Get emergency help if faint, dizzy, confused, sleepy, uncoordinated, have blurred vision, slurred speech, or slowed breathing. Don't receive Brixadi if allergic. Other serious side effects include physical dependence or abuse, liver problems, withdrawal, or decreased blood pressure. Common side effects include injection site reactions, headache, constipation, nausea, trouble sleeping, or UTI. Focus on where you're going versus where you've been. Talk to your doctor or visit Brixadi.com.
Break me down, you got a lovely face. We're going to your place, and now you got to freak me out. Scream so loud, getting fucking late. You want me to stay, but I got to. Hey, you're crazy bitch, but you're on top of me when I dream. I'm doing you all night. Stretches up down my back to keep me right on. Hey, you're crazy bitch, but you fuck so good. I'm on top of it when I dream. I'm doing you all night. Stretches up down my back to keep me right on. Take it all. The paper is your game. You jump in bed with fame. Another one not paid for. You're so fine, it won't be a loss. Cashing in the rush, just to get you face to face. Hey, you're crazy bitch, but you fuck so good. I'm on top of it when I dream. I'm doing you all night. Stretches all down my back to keep me right on. Hey, you're crazy bitch, but you fuck so good. I'm on top of it when I dream. I'm doing you all night. Stretches all down my back to keep me crazy bitch, crazy bitch, crazy bitch. Hey, you're crazy bitch, but you fuck so good. I'm on top of it when I dream. Doing you all night. Sketches all down my back to keep me right on. Hey, you're crazy bitch, but you fuck so good. I'm on top of it when I dream. I'm doing you all night. Sketches all down my back. Goodbye. Baby girl, you want it all. To be a star, you have to go down. Take it off, no need to talk. You're crazy, but I like the way you fuck me. Hey, you're crazy bitch, but you fuck so good. I'm on top of it when I dream. I'm viewing you all night. Stretches all down my back to keep me right on. Hey, you're crazy.
Anthrax. I'm the man. Cocoa, but I'm not sober. I feel you. I need some dabs. Should have went to the dispo today.
When you start to make music, you just have to follow what's inside of you and take a chance.
Took a chance.
Yo, man, what's the matter with you?
Get it the next time. I know.
Charlie, beat the beat you beat.
The only thing hard is the smell of my feet.
Don't listen, of course you like it. Take your pain, don't listen or take ya.
Yeah. Damn.
What's the beat? I'm so bad, I should be detention. I'm the man. We got Phillips. Chance, if you think we got equal, we're just hell. Shit, but it's a hard time is always
Sleeping late.
the tricks they drag. My money in the bag. They cut, they crack, they offer trust. We don't do trust, you get off.
Meaning.
Point that's the beat.
I'm so bad, I should be detention. I'm the man.
Boy, happy little man, rock the we like to be different, not cliche. Well, they say rap and rock is never mixed. All I'm thinking, sucker.
Sexual organ located in the lower abdominal area.
No, man, it's dick. Ow.
Face.
Toilet paper.
Yo, watch the beat.
I'm so mad I should be detention. I'm the man. It's winding down. You see me wear the crown. And back is number one. You don't care, we just wanna have
A festival.
fun, you stupid idiot. Joey, he's male. We are the kids and all shout hell. With life and down the east forever. We'll remain the hardest ever.
Stupid idiot.
It's a crime.
They got fucking Sam Kinison scream in their song. That's kind of funny. Ah, 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 ah.
My friends know me as a punk doggy daddy, but I'm also a chill yogi and green smoothies.
No one ever said that.
Don't worry about me, I'm gonna make it alright. Got my enemies caught there in my sight. I think it'll be a situation, gonna make it right. In the shadow, the darkness, I stand in the light. See, it's our style to keep it true. I had a bad year, I go through. I've been knocked out, detail, black and blue. She's not the one coming back for you. She's not the one coming back for you. If I fall back down, you're gonna have me back up again. If I fall back down, you're gonna be my friend. If I fall back down, you're gonna have me back up again. If I fall back down, you're gonna be my friend. It takes disaster to learn a lesson. You're gonna make it through the darkest night. Some people portray more than cost reason. To make everything alright. Woo! in blue. She's not the one coming back for you. She's not the one coming back for you. If I fall back down, you'll wanna help me back home again. If I fall back down, you're gonna be my friend. If I fall back down, you're gonna help me back home again. If I fall back down, you're gonna be my friend. If I fall back down, you're gonna help me back up again. If I fall back down, you're gonna be my friend.
drop a nuclear bomb on someone. Now that's how you know it's good music, if it has that effect on you. What do you want? Rat? You're a rat.
Dear Winter, our squad of vehicles with all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive is ready. Bundle up.
Just playing some skate. I don't know, I get so bored of these games real fucking quick though. Cold hot bitch.
There was a time when justice came not with a trial, but with fire, rope, or blade. In the medieval world, punishment was not only about guilt, it was about spectacle, fear, and control. Executions were often brutal, public, and horrifying, designed to send a clear message: defy the crown, the church, or the order of things, and you would pay in blood. These were not distant myths or legends. These were real events, written into the history books with trembling ink and eyewitness accounts. In this 4-hour documentary, we explore the darkest corners of the medieval world through stories of executions that actually happened. Let the flicker of torchlight, the distant echo of chains, and the solemn hush of history guide you into a time when life was fragile and death was often a public affair. So dim the lights, settle in, and let's begin our journey into some of the most brutal executions ever recorded in medieval history. There are names in history that never truly disappear. Names that live not just in books or monuments, but in whispers carried by wind over stone hills, in the silent strength of a people, in the pulse of rebellion that never fully fades. William Wallace is one of those names. To many, he was a hero, a patriot, a warrior who stood when others bowed. To others, he was a dangerous rebel, a traitor to the established order, a man who...
Jet was, they fucking disappeared. It's crazy. They were cool as hell and then they disappeared.
Dared to challenge the most powerful monarch in Western Europe. But no matter how he is seen, his fate remains one of the most brutal and unforgettable executions in medieval history. The story of Wallace begins not with his death, but with the world he was born into. Scotland in the late 13th century was a land of uncertainty. When King Alexander III died in 1286, his passing left a gaping void. His heir, A young girl named Margaret, the Maid of Norway, never made it to the throne. She died en route. With her, the direct royal bloodline ended. What followed was a scramble for power. Multiple noble families claimed the crown. Factions rose and fell. To avoid a civil war, many turned to England's King Edward thus to arbitrate the succession. But Edward, ever strategic, saw more than a chance to help. He saw a chance to conquer. He demanded fealty from the Scottish nobles and positioned himself as overlord. One claimant, John Balliol, was chosen as king, but he ruled as a puppet, humiliated and controlled. Discontent boiled across the land. Into this turmoil stepped William Wallace, not a nobleman, not a man of courtly influence, but a landless knight of uncertain origin. Some say he was born near Elderslie in Renfrewshire. Others place him elsewhere. His early life is obscure, shrouded in half legend and conflicting tales. But what is certain is that when resistance to English rule began to spark, Wallace did not hesitate to take up arms. The defining moment came in 1297. Wallace, leading a growing force of discontented Scots, engaged the English at the Battle of Stirling Bridge. Against all odds, his forces used the narrowness of the bridge to their advantage. English troops were forced to cross in small numbers, making them easy targets. It was a slaughter. Wallace's victory was total and stunning. For a brief moment, he became Guardian of Scotland, acting in the name of the exiled King John Balliol. But his success would not last. A year later, Edward I personally led a massive army into Scotland. Wallace, lacking the support of many noblemen and outmatched in numbers, was defeated at Falkirk. Though he escaped with his life, his political standing never recovered. He resigned as Guardian and faded into the shadows. For years, he was a ghost, reappearing only in rumors and skirmishes, a living symbol of defiance. Hunted, but not forgotten. The English saw him as a threat, a man who inspired rebellion simply by existing. In 1305, he was finally captured near Glasgow, betrayed by Sir John de Menteith, a Scottish knight loyal to Edward. Wallace was taken in chains, not as a prisoner of war, but as a criminal. They dragged him south to London, a long, humiliating journey through hostile lands. By the time he reached the English capital in August, news of his arrival had already spread. Crowds gathered not merely to see a man punished, but to witness a legend fall. He was held in the Tower of London for a short time, not as an honoured captive, but as a condemned one. His trial was swift and ceremonial. At Westminster Hall, the charges were read aloud: treason against the crown, murder, rebellion, infamy. Wallace denied none of his actions, but he rejected the foundation of the accusation. He had never sworn allegiance to Edward, he argued. How could a man be a traitor to a king he did not serve? It made no difference. Edward III wanted an example made, and what he ordered was not simply an execution, it was a performance of pain. The sentence was to be carried out in the most extreme form available under English law. He would be hanged, drawn, and quartered. On the morning of August 23rd, 1305, Wallace was stripped naked and tied to a wooden hurdle, a crude platform dragged by a horse. Through the streets of London, he was hauled, face up, as stones and refuse were hurled by angry onlookers. But not all in the crowd came to jeer. Some watched in silence, others with horror. Even in the heart of enemy territory, the gravity of what was about to happen hung thick in the air. They brought him to Smithfield, a broad open space on the edge of the city. A scaffold stood ready. Soldiers and officials surrounded it. So too did ordinary citizens, eager for spectacle or morbidly curious. Executions were public in those days, intended to terrify and impress. Wallace was first hanged by the neck, but not to death. The rope was carefully controlled, tightened until he lost consciousness, then released. This process was brutal, intended to torment without killing. His body would not be granted.
Well, I'm not sure what a quiff is, so I'm gonna go with queef.
until the mercy of a swift end. When he was cut down, his body collapsed onto the wooden block prepared for the next stage. There, the executioner began the process of evisceration. With slow, deliberate cuts, Wallace's abdomen was opened. His internal organs, beginning with his intestines, were pulled from his still living body. The pain is unimaginable. There was no anesthesia, no respite. He was then castrated. Another humiliation designed to erase not only his life, but his masculinity and power. As he writhed, his entrails were set alight, burned before his eyes.
Wow.
Still,
They ripped him in half, then set his intestines on fire. That's fucked.
the execution was not finished. At last, the axe fell. His head was severed from his body, but death did not bring peace. Wallace's corpse was quartered, his limbs separated, his body carved like butchered game. Each quarter was sent to a different city to be displayed: Newcastle, Berwick, Stirling, and Perth, places where his rebellion had taken root. His head, dipped in tar to preserve it, was mounted on a pike atop London Bridge, where the Thames wind could carry the message far and wide. This is what happens to traitors. Edward Fuss believed this would end the dream of Scottish independence, that the death of its most famous champion would snuff out the flame of resistance. But he was wrong. Wallace's execution did not extinguish the fire. If anything, it stoked it. Within 9 years, Robert the Bruce would lead the Scots to victory at the Battle of Bannockburn. Scottish independence, though hard-won and temporary, was achieved. Wallace had become more than a man. He was a myth now, etched into stone, song, and soul. The brutality of his death only made his legend stronger, and while the scaffold at Smithfield eventually gave way to other executions, other names, and other causes, the memory of August 1305 remained. It was a moment when a king's cruelty clashed with one man's defiance, and lost something intangible in the process. Today, Wallace's story continues. Statues stand in his memory. His name is taught in schools. His fight, however doomed it seemed, echoes in every corner of Scottish history, not because he won, but because he stood. And so, as the crowd disperses, the blood dries, and the pikes are lowered into silence, we step back from the scaffold and deeper into a world shaped by fire, punishment, and fear. Wallace was only the beginning. There are more stories waiting, more executions etched into the darkness of medieval justice. Some were political, some personal, others entirely arbitrary, but all were brutal, and all, in their own way, reveal something about power, how it was wielded, how it was feared, and how it was often preserved through the language of death. Let us now move on to the next. The cold mist that clings to the banks of the Seine seems ordinary now, but there was a time when it carried the scent of something more ominous: smoke, ash, and silence. Rouen, the heart of English-occupied Normandy, has known many stories, but few haunt its stones like that of a girl whose voice once shook kings, armies, and the church itself. Her name was Jeanne. The world would come to know her as Joan of Arc. Her story begins not in a battlefield or court, but in a small village called Domremy, in the northeastern corner of France. It was a quiet place, nestled among fields and woods, where life was hard but stable. Joan was born there around 1412, the daughter of farmers, destined, or so it seemed, for a life of obscurity and toil. But fate, in the medieval world, had strange ways of revealing itself. At the age of 13, Joan began to hear voices, visions as she described them, accompanied by dazzling light and the presence of holy figures. Saints Michael, Catherine, and Margaret, she said, appeared before her, delivering a divine command. She was to drive the English out of France and ensure that the Dauphin, Charles VII, was crowned king. These were dangerous visions in a time when heresy, witchcraft, and madness were punishable by death. But Joan believed. More than that, she acted. In a world where women had little voice, she broke every boundary. She left her village, dressed in male clothing, and sought out the Dauphin. Somehow, By persistence, by presence, or perhaps by providence, she was granted an audience. To the French, battered and weary from the 100 Years' War, she was a symbol of hope. A peasant girl claiming to carry messages from God. It was absurd, and yet it was also irresistible. France was a fractured land, caught between despair and surrender. And here was this young woman, barely 17, speaking with clarity, courage, and the conviction of a prophet. They gave her command of troops. She carried a banner, not a sword, and in 1429, at the Siege of Orleans, she led the French to a stunning victory. It was the turning point of the war. She became known as La Pucelle, the Maid of Orleans. Soon after, Charles was crowned in Reims, just as she had predicted. But fame is fickle, power dangerous, and the divine, when it walks too close to the world of politics, often meets a grim end. By 1430, Joan had become a threat, not just to the English, but to many within the French court as well. She continued to fight, pressing for a full liberation of France, but support began to falter. Her presence, once seen as miraculous, now made others uneasy. She was captured near Compiègne by Burgundian forces, French allies of the English, and sold to the English crown. What followed was not a trial in the modern sense. It was a ritual of condemnation, a tool of control. Joan was taken to Rouen and placed in a cold, damp prison. She was held not in a convent or even a noble's estate, but in a military prison. Her male
queef. Definitely.
clothing, which she had always worn for modesty and protection, would become a central point of accusation. The English did not want to simply execute her. They wanted to destroy her. Her victories, her divine visions, and the symbolism she carried had to be dismantled piece by piece. The church, aligned with English interests, would be the weapon. Her trial for heresy began in early 1431. It was overseen by Bishop Pierre Cauchon, a man with clear political ties to England. The charges were extensive: dressing as a man, claiming divine visions, practicing witchcraft, and refusing to submit to church authority. But Joan, despite being 19 years old, imprisoned, malnourished, and isolated, held her ground. Her responses were sharp, clear, and confident. She turned their questions back upon them. When asked if she believed she was in God's grace, a question meant to trap her, she famously answered, "If I am not, may God put me there, and if I am, may God so keep me." The trial dragged on for months. The judges pressed her. They tried to break her resolve. At one point, they presented her with a dress and demanded she abandon her male attire. She refused, not out of rebellion, but out of practicality and safety. She was housed with male guards. To wear a dress would expose her to assault. She made her choice with reason, not defiance, but the court saw only heresy. Eventually, under threat of immediate execution, Joan signed a document of abjuration, renouncing her visions and agreeing to conform. It was written in Latin. Joan, who could not read Latin, signed with a mark, possibly not fully understanding what she had agreed to. For a few short days, they dressed her in a woman's gown and declared the sentence commuted to life imprisonment. But then, something changed. Reports vary. Some say she was found again in male clothing, possibly forced to wear it by guards. Others suggest she took it up once more of her own accord, after suffering threats and mistreatment. Either way, the court seized upon it. To resume wearing men's clothing after abjuration was considered relapse, an unforgivable heresy. Now, they had what they needed. On May 30th, 1431, Joan of Arc was sentenced to death. She was to be burned alive in the marketplace of Rouen. That morning, the city stirred quietly under a heavy sky. Soldiers gathered around the old marketplace. A wooden stake had been erected. Around it, bundles of dry faggots and timber were piled high. The execution was to be public. A warning, a statement. Joan was led out in a cart. She wore a simple white robe. Her hands were bound. She asked,
Are you talking about this fucking pig thing? Is that what you're talking about? have no idea. John Pork? What? I don't know, is there what the fuck? This John Pork is disturbing me. This is funny as hell. Woman gets $1 and a mystery box, some box of pork and a cucumber. I'm gonna pick. Takes a photo of them. Well, I guess I'll look it up.
For a cross. A sympathetic English soldier fashioned one for her from 2 sticks and handed it to her. A friar walked beside her, whispering prayers. They tied her to the stake. The flames were lit. She did not scream. Witnesses claimed she called out the name of Jesus until her final breath. The smoke rose above the rooftops, drifting over Rouen.
Set that bitch on fire! John Pork rain bet ad.
John Pork ring fit ad.
Nope. What the fuck? So it's a 13-second. Wait, what? There's fucking too many damn videos. The guy with the aluminum foil over his head. Foil and I typed in John Pork rain bet ad and there's so many damn fucking pictures of people with pigs. Pig face man. So I can't find the one you're talking about, bro. There's too many. Oh god. Yeah, I don't know. I can't find it, man.
Like a dark flag. When it was done, they scattered her ashes in the Seine, so no relics could be taken, no bones venerated. They hoped to erase her, but they could not. Joan's death sent ripples across Europe. Within 25 years, a retrial was held. The church reviewed her case, and in 1456, she was declared innocent, a martyr, wrongfully condemned. Centuries later, she was canonized a saint. Her memory, far from vanishing, grew stronger. The square in Rouen is still there, so is the plaque and the silence. But it is not just a monument to a girl who was burned. It is a reminder of how fear of the extraordinary can lead to cruelty, of how institutions, in the grip of power, often strike hardest at the innocent. Joan of Arc was not royalty. She had no armies of her own. What she had was belief. In her visions, in her purpose, and perhaps most dangerously, in herself. The fire that consumed her body could not consume that. And as the embers faded and the crowd dispersed, something lingered, not smoke, not ashes, but a kind of stillness, the kind that comes when something terrible has happened, and the world doesn't quite know what to do with it. In that silence, a legacy was born. And as we step away from the fire in Rouen, we turn toward another execution, another soul condemned by the systems of the medieval world. Another life taken not simply to end it, but to make an example of it. The methods would change, the reasons would vary, but the brutality always remained. Let us continue. There are deaths in history that shake kingdoms, others fade into silence. But some, quiet and obscure in their own time, whisper across centuries. Their impact is not measured in headlines or battles won, but in the way they touch the soul, slowly, softly, insistently. One such death occurred in the heart of Paris in the year 1310, when a woman named Marguerite Perrette was burned alive in the public square. Her crime was not violence, nor treason, nor conspiracy. It was a book. The story of Marguerite Perrette is one of stillness rather than spectacle, introspection rather than outrage. And yet, like so many others condemned in the medieval world, her life was marked by a slow collision between belief and power. A collision that would leave nobody behind, only ashes, and a memory that refused to die. She was born sometime in the mid to late 13th century, likely in Hainaut, in the region we now call Belgium. The exact year is unknown, as is the exact place. She left behind no portraits, no personal belongings, no grave, only words. And from those words, a picture begins to form, not of a revolutionary, not of a warrior or politician, but of a thinker, a mystic, a woman who wrote from the depths of the soul at a time when doing so could be fatal. Marguerite was part of the Béguine movement, a loosely organized sisterhood of laywomen who lived in voluntary poverty and spiritual devotion without taking formal vows. Béguines were neither nuns nor wives. They owned little, often cared for the sick and poor, and lived lives of religious contemplation without being tethered to a monastery. This independence was appealing and suspicious. In a church growing increasingly centralized, Béguines were seen as ambiguous, difficult to control. They lived outside the traditional structures, and though many were admired for their piety, others attracted concern for their ideas, especially when they put those ideas into writing. Sometime around the turn of the century, Marguerite completed a manuscript titled Le Miroir de Simples Âmes Anéanties, The Mirror of Simple Souls Annihilated. It was unlike anything most clerics of the time had seen. Written not in Latin, the language of the educated elite, but in vernacular French, the language of the people, the book described the soul's journey toward God as a series of purifications, until, in its highest state, the soul became annihilated, not destroyed, but emptied, absorbed entirely into divine love, freed from self, from fear, and even, she claimed, from the burden of virtue. The soul, in this final state, no longer needed to strive. It was no longer bound by the commandments of the church, nor even by good works. It acted only through divine love, beyond judgment, beyond reward, beyond punishment. To those immersed in mysticism, this idea was not entirely new. Similar themes echoed in the writings of Meister Eckhart in Germany, Hadewig in the Low Countries, and later, St. John of the Cross in Spain. But what made Marguerite's case different was how public her book became, and how unrepentant she remained. Church authorities in her region took notice. In 1306, the Bishop of Cambrai officially condemned her book as heretical. He ordered it publicly burned in the town square. That alone would have ended most stories. But Marguerite continued. Undeterred, she traveled through northern France and into Paris, distributing her writings, perhaps even revising them. She refused to accept that her words were heretical. To her, they were truth. Eventually, the church escalated. She was arrested and imprisoned by the Inquisition in Paris. The charge, writing and circulating heretical teachings. But her trial would unfold differently than most. Marguerite did not mount a defense. For over a year, she remained mostly silent, refusing to speak or recant. Some have speculated that silence was a form of spiritual resistance, that having described the soul as annihilated in God, she now lived it. Others believe she knew the trial would be determined and saw no point in arguing. Whatever the reason, her silence unnerved the court. During this time, the Mirror of Simple Souls was submitted to a panel of theologians from the University of Paris. It was carefully dissected. 21 articles were drawn from the text and condemned. Among the most troubling, in the eyes of the inquisitors, were Marguerite's claims that the annihilated soul need not follow the teachings of the church, that it was beyond sin. and that divine love rendered all external authority meaningless. To the Church, this was spiritual anarchy. If accepted, such ideas could unmoor the foundations of ecclesiastical control. Obedience, confession, penance, all could be discarded. And worse, they were being preached by a woman, a laywoman, one without title or theological training. After a full year in captivity, Marguerite was declared a relapsed heretic. In church law, a heretic who refused to repent, or who recanted and then relapsed, was condemned without mercy. Death was mandatory. On June 1st, 1310, Marguerite was taken from her cell and led into the Place de Grève. The square, situated near the Seine, was a common site of public executions. Its cobbled ground had witnessed many deaths: thieves, rebels, traitors, but rarely thinkers. She was tied to a tall wooden stake. Around her feet, bundles of dry wood and brush had been stacked high. Witnesses describe a large crowd gathering. Some came for spectacle. Others watched in sorrow, unsure why this woman, dressed plainly and speaking softly, was being condemned to flame. There are no records of her last words, no sermon, no cry, just fire. As the smoke rose, the flames curled around her body. The crowd fell silent. No relics were kept. Her ashes were scattered to the wind. Her book, so dangerous in life, survived. It disappeared from public view for over a century, but resurfaced later in England, Italy, and eventually Germany. It was copied, translated, passed hand to hand, often anonymously or under other names. Over time, it became recognized not as heresy, but as a masterpiece of medieval mysticism, subtle, poetic, and profound. Centuries later, theologians would debate its meaning. Was Marguerite truly suggesting that the soul no longer needed morality? Or was she describing, in symbolic language, the absolute trust a soul places in divine will once it surrenders completely? Modern readers find in her work something astonishing, a kind of spiritual clarity, a stillness in the storm of medieval religiosity. She was not attacking the church out of rage. She was not seeking power. She was writing, quite simply, from the place within her that believed, fully, fearlessly. In that, perhaps, lay her greatest danger. For the church of the early 14th century, faith had to be mediated. It had to be taught, supervised, corrected, and above all, it had to be obedient. Marguerite Porete was none of those things. She did not shout, she did not riot, she did not incite. She simply listened to her soul and wrote what she heard, and for that, they burned her. But if the fire was meant to silence her, it failed. Today, the mirror of simple souls is read not in secret, but in seminaries. Her name, once erased, is carved on monuments. Her words have outlived her judges, her executioners, and even the institution that condemned her. Marguerite's story is not just a tale of death, it is a tale of endurance, of the soul's quiet refusal to be caged. And as we leave the Place de Grève, as the last embers fade and the square grows still again, we are reminded that not all heretics were rebels, and not all martyrs wore crowns. Some sat alone in their rooms, pen in hand, writing truth into the silence. Let us turn now to another name, another fire, another final breath taken beneath the watchful eyes of history. For in the medieval world, ideas were as dangerous as blades, and sometimes far more powerful. Let us continue. In the narrow alleys of southern France, where stone walls hold the heat of the afternoon sun, and time seems to settle gently on every rooftop, a quiet storm once stirred. It began not with war or rebellion, but with a voice. A lone man walking from town to town, speaking not in anger, but in certainty. His name was Peter of Bruges, and though his words were not shouted from pulpits or battlefields, they carried a weight that would bring an entire town to rage and flame. He did not rise to fame in a court or monastery. His name appears only fleetingly in the writings of those who tried to silence him. There are no records of his birth, no preserved relics, no clear lineage. What we know of him comes from the edges of other men's pages, from those who denounced him, and from the aftermath of the fire that consumed him. Peter lived in the early 12th century, a time when the church was not simply a religious institution, it was the anchor of daily life. Its rituals marked every stage of existence: birth, marriage, death. Priests held not only spiritual authority, but social power. And yet, in that authority, cracks had begun to show. Corruption was common. Some clergy lived in wealth while preaching poverty.